Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. As you can see, it's going to be a BBC micro game, and I want to see if I can find the game that I'm looking for. Let's see here. There it is. Well, it's really a brand new old Let's Play. Welcome to Tea Shop for the BBC Micro. Have you ever felt that lemonade stand was too easy? Do you wish it were more British? Do you wish more random stuff happened in lemonade stand? And do you like BBC micro games made by Anita Straker, who later became an officer of the British Empire and the commander of the Knights of Bath for her services in the education field in the UK? And more importantly, do you want me to see me play this game in 50 frames per second as I originally intended? If you said yes to any of these questions, then, well, Tea Shop is for you. Okay, maybe that last question didn't really apply to this, but still, at least I have a reason for doing this again. So, we can play with sound on or off. I'm going to pick Y for yes. And I'm going to turn my sound down real quick. There we go. Alright. From here we can either play the game, see the rules, or stop the game before we even play it. I'm going to go ahead and see the rules and press return after I press the letter B. Tea Shop. Each week your school team plays against a Wow, I cannot English. Each week your school team plays a match against a visiting team. You decide to sell teas to make money. You start with £1, which is given to you, and you must see how well you can do. Note that costs rise regularly due to inflation. So we got that happening too. And if you've ever watched me play a lemonade stand for the Apple II, you know how this game goes. If you haven't, well, you get to see me explain how it goes anyway. So, A to play the game, return to start. We can choose between 1 to 4 players. It's just going to be me, and I'm just going to type my name in. I'm pretty sure you can have 1, 2, 3. You can have up to 12 letters for your name. So I'm going to choose Watercress like I did the first time around. And here, the weather forecast for Saturday is sunny. We are at week number 1. The cost of 1 tea is 1 pence, and we start with £1. We have all that information up there, along with our name, or the name of the current player in case you're playing with more than one player, on the upper part of the screen. We start by deciding how many teas we will make. I will go ahead and make 50. How many public announcements at 5 pence each will you make? I'm going to make 2. And what will we charge for 1 tea? I'm going to go ahead and charge 5 pence. The price will be in pence. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I might as well mention that anyway. And from here, we can choose whether or not we want to make changes. If we do want to make changes, we'll have to go through this all over again and change what we need to change. If not, we can just press N. We can go through the week, and then we'll see how much we spent on cost, how much money we made off the tea, and then we get to see our profit. I'm just going to select N for no and see what happens. Alright, so we sold all of our teas, all 50 teas at 5 pence each, so that's £2.50 in income. We spent 60 pence on cost, 50 pence for the teas and 2 announcement at 5 pence each. So £2.50 minus 60 pence equals £1.90 in profit. Your profit is income minus costs. And from there we add our £1.90 profit to the 1 pound in cash we started with, and we now have £2.90. And from here we can press the space bar and go on to the next week. The weather forecast for Saturday is also sunny. Now, by looking up at the top of the screen, the cost of 1 tea has now gone up to 2 pence. So it is now doubly expensive. I now have the ability to make 145 teas if I'm trying to make the maximum, but that won't leave me any money for public announcements. So I'm going to go ahead and 130. That's 260. No. I'm going to do 140. I'm going to make 2. And I will charge 10 pence for 1 tea. And there's a reason why I'm going to do this, as you will soon see. Good news! Extra supporters arrive. All teas are sold out. And look at that. We made 140 teas at 10 pence each. So that's 14 pounds that we just made. And we spent all the money we had so far, or up to that point, on teen announcements. We not only got a lot of that, or basically all of it back, but we made some money in the meantime. So 14 pounds minus £2.90, that's $11.10. And we now have 14 pounds in money, which is kind of interesting. We definitely bet on ourselves, and we won. I knew that would happen at week 2. There are specific weeks where you can have good things happen to you, believe it or not. And having extra supporters means that no matter how many teas you have and how much you charge for them, you're always going to sell out. And that's not the only good thing that can happen to you. Sometimes you can have a very hot day, which means more people will buy. Sometimes you'll have extra supporters, or your school's team wins, or passing tourists, or the weather improves in case of clouds, or in case of cloudy or rainy weather, which we haven't seen yet. In case any of those things happen, we get to sell all our teas guaranteed, no matter how many we made and no matter how much we charged. And when we press the space bar, we now have rainy weather. And it now costs 3 pence to make 1 tea. So I'm just going to make 10. I'm just going to make I'll probably just make 0 announcements. And I'll probably charge 4 pence for each tea. At the very least. I'm not going to make any changes. And now we have some bad news. A power cut. The tea urn won't work. Sometimes bad things will happen to you. In case that happens, you don't make a profit. You get no profit, and any cost you made for making announcements or teas, you lose all that money. So you want to go low when it comes to cloudy or rainy days in case of bad news. Thankfully, we only lost 30 pence because I didn't make as many teas. That's not the only bad thing that can happen to you. Sometimes you'll have a plague of wasps. Sometimes there'll be a downpour that keeps people from showing up, which will also probably cancel the game. There's a flu epidemic. Sometimes there's a heat extension, which makes it that nobody shows up. And sometimes there's a Walls ice cream van that will show up and take all your business. In case you get bad news, you make no profit. You get no income. So you want to be careful on rainy or cloudy days. But at least week 4 is now sunny. And we still have £13.70. And from here, I can go ahead and make 50 teas. And I can make 2 public announcements. Now, interestingly, the cost of 1 tea has now gone up to 4 pence. So I'm going to have to be a little cautious as to how I do things. I'm going to try 7 pence for a tea. I'll make 3 pence profit. See what happens. Well, we sold all but 1 tea. So that's very nice. We made £3.43. And we spent £2 £2 10 pence on the costs, so we made £1.33. We are now up to $15 again. Or actually, we were at 14 before. Now we're at 15. So we did all right for ourselves. And now it's time for cloudy weather for week 5, where the cost of 1 tea is now at 5 pence. I'm going to go ahead and make 10 teas. I'll probably make 0 announcements. And I'll probably charge 6 pence. See what happens here. I'll probably sell them all. Yes, I did. 10 pence, but we're still in the black. At least week 6 is now sunny. So that's a good thing. And the cost of tea has not gone up. So, I'm going to make 50 teas. Uh-oh. The cost of public announcements has now gone up from 5 pence to 10 pence. This is something that Lemonade Stand did not do. I mean, they did raise the cost of lemonade from 2 to 4, and then it started at 2, and then it went up to 5, and it never went up again. That much is a given. But the cost of signage never went up in that game. In this game, it does. And you have to be very cautious about what you do. Things get a little harder, and what you could easily do, almost seemingly guaranteed in Lemonade Stand, it won't always fly in Tea Shop. So I'm going to charge 8 pence. And I'm not going to make any changes and see what happens. We sold all but three teas. So we still made a profit of £1.06. Had this been Lemonade Stand, I would have sold all the teas guaranteed. The game was challenging to a point. This one, they upped the difficulty a little bit. But at least we're still in the black. We haven't really lost a serious amount of money yet. And we have a sunny day for week 17. The cost of tea has now gone up to 6 pence. And I will go ahead and make 50 teas. I will make 2 public announcements, and I'll charge 8. I'll make a 2 pence instead of a 3 pence profit for week 7. And we're going to see what happens. Just like with Lemonade Stand, you will have to experiment in this game. And possibly even more so than you did in Lemonade Stand. And once again, we still sold the same amount of teas, and we made even less of a profit. Oh, yikes. Yeah, this game is definitely harder than Lemonade Stand. So, $3.76 for income, $3.20 in costs. That leaves us with 56 pence. And now it's time for rainy weather for week 8. I'm going to go ahead and make 10 teas and make no public announcements. And I'm just going to charge 8 pence. No changes. Bad news. A Walls ice cream van takes all the trade. Told you that would happen. I just forgot it happened during this week. But we only lost 60 pence. Now, for those of you who are from outside of the UK or Europe, Walls is a British ice cream and frozen dessert brand owned by the Anglo-Dutch food and personal care conglomerate Unilever. It started out in the United Kingdom, but it has since gone through. It's since spread to all of Europe and into a lot of Asia and Australia and the Middle East, and even has gone as far south as the island of Mauritius near Madagascar. Here in the States where I'm from, Walls is not really a thing. Walls doesn't even do business here in the States. So we Americans have never heard of Walls. But at least a lot of Europe and Asia, as well as Australia and the island of Mauritius, has. And I didn't mention this at the start of the Let's Play, but I believe this game was made in 1983. And by this point, Walls had been around for about 60-odd years. It had been around since the late 1700s, but they didn't really get into the ice cream business until the year of 1922. So, at this point, Walls was a well-established ice cream brand around the time that the game came out. And given that the game came out in 1983, this is quite possibly, if not the earliest commercial product placement in a game, probably one of the first examples ever. If there's an older commercial product placement in a game older than this, I'd like to know. Matter of fact, when did Tapper come out? Also in 1983. And that one had the Budweiser brand tacked onto it. Interesting. Well, time to go on and do week 9, where we're going to have cloudy weather. I'm going to be playing to week 15. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. This time, the cost of 1 tea is now 7 pence. I believe it goes up to 9, and then it just stops. And I'm going to go ahead and charge 9 pence. And I'm not going to make any changes. We made 20 pence. That's alright. And we're going to have rainy weather for week 10. So I'm going to have to do the same thing again. Really? Public announcements have now gone up to 15 pence. I've never really played past week 15 or week 20. And at this point, I'm afraid to even ask how high up that the price of public announcements can even go. And yeah, same thing as last time. I didn't get any bad news. We made another 20 pence. And that's alright. But we now have sunny weather here. And the cost of 1 tea has now gone up to 8 pence. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2 public announcements, and I'm going to make a 1 pence profit off of these. Once again, I'm going to have to experiment. Oof. Well, I lost 25 pence, but it's only 25 pence. And now the forecast is sunny again for week 12. Thankfully, nothing has changed as far as prices are concerned. I'm going to make 40. I'll just go ahead and make 1. And I'll go ahead and charge 9. So 41 and 9. Let's see what we do. We made that 25 pence back. Okay. And now we have rainy weather again for week 13. And now the cost of 1 tea has now gone up to 9 pence. I'm going to make 0. And I'll go ahead and make 12. See what happens. Still sold all the teas. That's okay. That's alright. Week 14. Sunny weather again. And let's do 50. The 1. And then the 10. Kind of experimenting for the last few weeks that I'm going to do on this video. Well, that's awful. Still didn't sell all the teas. Maybe I should have stuck to 40. Well, you live and learn. We only lost 55 pence. And we now have cloudy weather. And at least I can redeem myself by doing it this way. 1660. That's not bad. We kind of had to make a slow climb to get there, but at least we got there. And I said I was going to stop at week 15, and that's where I'm going to stop. So this game, not a bad game, but you do kind of have to think and experiment and just try stuff out and really get used to this game. Plays like Lemonade Stand for the Apple II and a lot of other computer and other consoles, I guess, that Lemonade Stand came out on here in the States. But Tea Shop adds a little bit of difficulty. The cost of the teas, the cost to make the tea, keeps going up to a certain point. And the cost of public announcements also go up as well. And you can have good news and you can have bad news. Sometimes you can have days where you get good news and you're guaranteed a profit and you're guaranteed to sell everything you made. Or you're going to have days where you have bad news and everything you've done is ruined and you get no income. And the game is programmed in BBC Basic, so if you're able to read the code for this game, you can tell when all the good news and bad news happens, and you can also change it accordingly if you know how to code in BBC Basic. Reason I know about all the good news and bad news things as well as the game being coded in BBC Basic is because between the making of the original version and this replay, I found a video about the game by Retrobytes. And I recommend checking that video out. I'll put the video for that in the description. Also starring What Host Snorkers, who not only guest stars in it, but also directed me to the video, so thank you so much, What Host Snorkers, aka James O'Grady of the One Credit Classics crew. What else? What was guaranteed to let you buy, or rather sell all of your stuff, all the stuff you made in Lemonade Stand, it's not exactly guaranteed in Tea Shop. This game is a lot harder. You may be able to make a lot of tea, but you're not going to be guaranteed to sell all of it unless you get good news. It's not super easy like Lemonade Stand was, and I didn't have to experiment as much. Also, Lemonade Stand had a lot of hot days where I could make a lot of product. And didn't have a lot of days where either there was a thunderstorm or there was a heat wave that kept me from selling anything. At least the thunderstorm days were kinda predictable. Here, not so much unless you know exactly when they happen from playing this game multiple times. So yeah, this is not the easiest game in the world. if you played Lemonade Stand. You are going to have some difficulty. You will be experimenting a lot more compared to Lemonade Stand, and you will be trying your darndest just to stay in the black and make a lot of money. At least this game has no end. So you're free to experiment and play around until you run out of money and the whole business venture is over. So anyway, this game. The graphics, what you see is what you get. You just have a lot of pink, blue, black, and white. But at least everything is easy to read. You can tell what everything does. It's not bad. I mean, it is a BBC Micro game. You're not going to have a lot in terms of graphics. And you can still tell what everything is when you see the weather. You can tell that you're looking at a rain cloud or a cloud or the sun. And you can tell what the teacups and the tea kettle look like. It's simple, but it works. Sound of music, there's not a lot to it. You just get a little ditty whenever you see the weather, as well as whenever you start the game with the sound on. It's not a lot, but it's serviceable, and I can't complain. Play control. I did not have any coding errors. I had no errors playing this game for as long as I did. Everything's really simple to do. You just type in your choices. You can choose whether or not you want to change anything afterwards. And then it's just really simple to go through the week. If you played Lemonade Stand on the Apple II or virtually any computer or in any sort of way, you know how this game works. And it works like a charm. Anita Straker did a good job on this. And replay value. You'll probably play this for 10 to 15 minutes. At least 10 minutes before you put something else on, like a lead or something. But it's a nice childhood favorite for Britons of a certain vintage. I certainly had fun with it, given that it was a more British version of Lemonade Stand, which I've also played in the past. But as long as you play it in small bursts, it's not a bad game. Again, you'll still be playing something else afterwards. But you'll have fun with it for about maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. It is what it is. What you see is what you get. All in all, this isn't a bad game. I can definitely appreciate it, especially after having played Lemonade Stand for Apple II before this. And it was nice to play this game and appreciate it again, this time at 50 frames per second like I intended. Because when I first played this game for my YouTube channel, I had to play it at 25 frames because it was during the time when I had just gotten started with OBS and recording PlayStation 2 footage, and I had problems with stuff, and I kind of had to play on a lesser frame rate for a little while, and therefore this didn't quite come out like I wanted. And now it kind of has, and I'm all the more glad for it. And it was nice to play this game again too. And at this point, if I just keep talking, I'm just going to keep rambling. So this has been T-Shop for the BBC Micro. Hopefully I will be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between. Who knows? Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.